Hello? Hello?
Hello, hi,
Is anyone here?
good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, good afternoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, are we complete?
No, it's only one person. Okay, what time is it?
Hi, Jephthah.
Hello?
Good afternoon. Good
Good
afternoon,
afternoon.
everyone. So,
Yeah,
okay, how's it going?
yeah, quite well.
Awesome. Sorry for the last minute change, and
No
thanks
problem.
for coming through, anyways. So I'll just leave it to you. Start with the introduction, and then move along. I guess you can also ask them to introduce themselves if you
All
like,
right.
just so that you can easily identify them and call them out as we move along.
All right, that's fine.
Awesome. Thank
Um,
you.
so the three people that are meant to be here are Adele, Olamide, Jimmy, Shot,
And Taiwo.
Taiwo. Okay,
Yeah.
excellent. All right, that's fine. Hi, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Yes, someone has a background noise that's covering everybody. Is that? Yes, so I'll try to introduce myself. I think we can put videos on just for this moment, just so we can see ourselves and get to know each other better. That works, yeah? Excellent. Yeah, and yeah, you can see me. Yeah, Taiwo, Jimmy. Excellent. One more person. But can you see me, right? Hello? Yeah.
Yeah,
So
we can see you.
I got one more person with the black, a dark background. Yeah. So I'm Jephthah, right? And I'm a senior Android engineer at Carbon. I'm sure you know Carbon, on finance and investment. Pay later. Any of those names ring bells? Anyone? Carbon, one finance, pay later. Have you heard of that name before?
Carbon, pay later.
What is it?
I know carbon, pay later.
Excellent. Yeah, pay later. Yeah, so that's where I work. As much as possible, right? I've worked there for about a year now. I joined them last year, and you can be sure it's been wonderful. We've released so many features over the time, and we've improved the code base from what it was before to a very nice one.
So sorry,
Yeah,
you need to work with so far.
I can't hear that person very well.
I need to work with I think I can't remember.
You can't remember what? What is it?
Like so far, there's someone that works at. Can you hear me?
I'm hearing you faintly. Can you increase your volume or something?
I don't know. Can you hear me now?
Yes, much better.
Yeah, I think I work with so far.
Yes, Chizoba. Yes,
Yeah,
I know Chizoba. Chizoba worked with us. He left in December. You know him very well.
no, I don't.
Oh, huh? It's still faint. Someone is having a background noise. Yeah. So Alule, I'm listening.
Yeah, I said I don't know him passive, but I just stumbled on one of his talks and all that.
If what?
I said I don't know him personally. I don't know him passive, but I just stumbled on one of
Oh,
his
oh, oh, oh. Oh, okay. I get. Yeah, we work together. He's a nice guy. He left us in December, right? So he found somewhere else to go. Yeah, but I met him there. right? I more or less got the code base from him. So like he passed it down to us. Yeah. So before Carbon, I've worked at Simfix. I don't know if you've heard of that before. So I was at Simfix for about a year or so, and that was so my journey started quite, I wouldn't say rough, but somewhere in between rough and smooth. Yeah. So that's just a brief introduction. I'm very sure we still talk about ourselves as we move on. So I'll be handing over to the next person. I'm seeing Adele Olamide as the next person. Please introduce yourself.
Yeah, I think, I don't know.
Your volume is quite low.
Oh, man, I don't know. Maybe it's the mic of this laptop. Can you
I
hear me?
think, yeah, increase the volume of your speaker or something on your computer. Your sound settings.
I don't know why it's acting like this. Oh, can you hear me? Is it
Yes, I
better?
can hear you. It just comes in once in a while, then it goes back.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So I said I'm a bit around here. Um, I've been, I've been playing at 100 for, I don't know, maybe be a year in June or so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
in June,
excellent.
be a year. Yeah, in June. Around June, July. Around that.
June last year.
Yeah,
Cool. So how's the journey so far?
well, nice, nice. So,
Somewhere in between,
yeah,
are we?
yeah, no, exactly. So in between nice and rough.
All right, that's fine, no problems. We talk about that. Taiwo,
Okay, my name is Tony. Can you hear me?
yes, I can hear you. So
Okay,
you're done with the background noise.
yeah, I have people around me here.
Can you possibly find a secluded place somewhere it's just you or Loa?
Uh,
Or is it
I
possible?
can't, I can't find anywhere. Everywhere is crowded.
Oh, no problem. We try to work with that. No problem. Continue.
Yeah. My name is Taiwo, and I started this programming journey last year, around September, October. I
Ah,
was I was learning Java, yeah, Java. So I just felt like, okay, if I need to just probably look at a particular career to actually focus on, so I chose Android. So I started Android around October, November.
October, November. Okay.
Yeah. But the journey has been very, I won't say very smooth though. It's not very smooth. Just actually working the White House, trying out just it.
So which one is giving you the problem? Is it the Android or the Java?
Java. Yeah, actually, my Java is not. The way I say to my friend, my Java is still a bit shaky.
I
So
see.
that's just it.
So Java, Kotlin, which one do you use?
I use Java.
You use Java very well.
I use Java. I'm not that so strong. My Java is not that so strong. So I still do I still read and some practice at my end.
Okay.
So
So have you used Kotlin at any point?
I've never used Kotlin.
Ah, okay.
I've never used Kotlin.
Okay. What about Adele? You not use Kotlin too?
I've used it for a couple of simple projects, but I know how to use it
Oh,
very well.
okay,
I've
but you know
used
the
it for
basic
a couple,
syntax.
just simple,
Syntax.
yeah. I know
All right.
file, deliver, all that.
All right. So you won't be looking like I'm speaking French in this class. No problem. We try to work with that. So Jimmy.
Yeah, good afternoon, Jephthah.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, I've been on Java for 2 years. I started Android dev around
2
October.
years,
Yeah, started Android dev around
bro.
October last
Ah,
year. Then I think we share a mutual friend, Dari Fatime. I checked your LinkedIn profile. I think
yes,
he didn't post you yet. Yeah.
that is my senior in school. How well do you know him?
Well, like when I served in Benin, like I virtually moved into his house.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, the
So
apartment he was staying in Beef.
Okay.
from him. Yeah.
So that means as soon as he was leaving NYSC, you were entering.
Exactly.
Coming in.
So I think he was one of the persons that influenced me to pick Java.
I see. The guy is a big man now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. Nice meeting everyone. I'm sure it's going to be a wonderful time, right? Trying to get ourselves used to Android development very well, right? And apart from our introduction, we are still going to talk about insights on what the players look for, career portfolio as an Android developer, and how to find opportunities. I'm sure we'll be doing that after our presentation, after the small presentation that we have. And I'm sure we've been informed that we'll be talking about persistent storage in Android. Yeah?
Yes.
Excellent. So I'll be sharing my screen. Okay, and if you have any questions, do not hesitate to stop me, right? So we go along with that. So, and another thing I need to talk about before we get to the slides is my presentations are actually in Kotlin. So somehow, as if I knew, right, I had my presentations in Java, okay? But when it was going through review, I discovered that, it has to be in Kotlin. Kotlin is like the newest guy in town for Android development, right? So it's fitting to have Kotlin codes, but I'm very sure you'll be able to understand it. Okay, you'll be able to understand it. So don't be scared yet, right? Has anyone done anything on what is it called? Any professional, like any Android project, any like big Android project before? Anyone here? Anyone?
I can't hear you. You are breaking up.
Oh, I said, has anyone done any Android project, like any full Android project from scratch before?
No.
No? Adele, no too?
I've kind of worked on one. And what is like what exactly is
Like, you have an Android project that probably you started from the beginning or you met it somewhere in between, but you're able to see it through, like, deploy it on Play Store, have users test it. Do you have any of such? What about you, Jimmy? I think Jimmy has more software engineering.
No, software engineering, Java, yes. Android.
No, not 100, no.
Not
Okay.
Android in particular.
All right.
Olamide is
problem,
even better at it.
Really? All right.
I didn't hear him. What did he say? He said what?
He was saying you're probably better than me in Android development. Did you get that?
Don't mind him. He's always modest. Yeah, I got it. He's just a modest person.
It's fine to be modest now. What do you think? It's fine to be modest. It's fine to just be.
Yeah, he's trying to be modest.
You don't have to be proud. Humble Jimmy. All right. Let me share the slides. So I'm sharing my screen right now. So we can go off with our videos. Yeah, so like I said earlier, if you have any questions, just let me know. Okay? So I'll be sharing this. Excellent. Yes, can you see my screen? Somehow I can't present. Can you still see my screen? How does it look?
Yes.
What can you see? What exactly are you seeing?
Persistent storage in Android. Jephthah Afolayan.
Does that?
Yes.
Nothing like next slide, no preview anywhere.
No.
Excellent.
Just like a full screen.
Okay. That's fine. Yes, so this is about persistent storage in Android development, and I'll be taking you through the options that we have and giving us a kind of conclusion on the, let's say, the best practice, in in persistent storage for Android development. So the first one we'll be having here, this is the table of contents, like just to give you an idea of what we'll be going through. The overview of, that's the general Android storage options. Also have available options. We have why room, why are we going with room? We have entities and DAOs. DAOs are data access objects. We have CRUD operations. CRUD is generally create, read, update, and delete. Okay? So how to perform all these kind of operations in Android, in room. And also we have type converters, migrations, testings, and our questions at the end. Right? So I move on. The first one we have is the overview. So it's important to store items, store data in your apps, right? So let's say an example of Facebook application, right? So when you go offline, right, it has to, I'm sure you can still use Facebook app even when you're offline, right? So with that, it means the app has cached something that saved something temporarily for you, even though you're offline, okay? Another thing is that you don't have to log in every time on Facebook app, or probably, let's say WhatsApp, Facebook, or even your Instagram. You don't get to log in every time, yeah? So it means somehow those apps have saved your session, saved your username, saved your probably your token, because there's something we call tokens in Android in software development. The tokens allow people to allow you to connect to a backend server, and the server can recognize you as you, okay, just for authentication purposes. Then we have key value pairs. Key value pairs happens like how would I explain this? So key value pairs is more like, have you seen JSON formats before? Has anyone worked with JSON before?
Yes.
Yes, so JSON is key value. So you have your key, let's say name as Jephthah, surname Afolayan. Like it's just something, just one values, like a map. I used a Java map before. So when you use a Java map, you have the key value options. And also when you want to share your data with other applications or other devices. Now, if you notice that if you have like 2 devices and you have logged in with your Google account, right? You notice that if you have your mail, if you got your mail on this app, you're getting your mail on the other on this phone, then you're getting your mail on the other phone too. Have you experienced that before? So if you want to share your data, share your app information with other devices, it's important that you persist some at least basic information somewhere within the app or on the phone, on the device. Another option that we have for storage is on the cloud or over a network, right? So example is, let's give an example of Twitter. Yeah, with Twitter, you are not really saving so much on your phone, but you get what you need from the internet, right? So if you want to really use Twitter, you want to have the best experience on Twitter, you have to connect to the internet, meaning it's taking something from an online database, from a storage that's fixed online somewhere over a network. So this way, your app is lively, is active, because you can get information from somewhere. So the options that we have in Android goes like this. The first one is app-specific storage, right? And one of the things I want you to do, probably you can write it down. It might not be now, right? Go into your phone memory. Are you with me? Go into your phone memory. There's a folder called Android, right? We can even check it now. There are Android phones with you.
Yes, you all live in Android.
Yes. So open your phone, like to your file manager on your phone. Right? Is anyone
Yeah,
there?
yeah, well, with you.
Yes. So there's a folder called Android. So inside this Android folder, you can see another folder, data. Okay. Is anyone checking their phones?
I didn't get what you said last. Inside the Android folder.
So inside the Android folder, are you inside the Android folder of your phone?
Yes, yes.
Yes. So inside the Android folder, you see a folder called data.
Okay.
Right? What do you see
Yes.
inside?
Okay. I think it's like the package of
What is it?
usually the apps on my phone.
Exactly.
The package of the files on my
Yes. Yes. So
of
that's
the
the way
apps
it
on my
works.
phone rather.
Excellent. So that's the way it works. So this our specific storage works like these folders you can actually access them from your gallery or somewhere else. So these are folders specific to your app. Okay. So if you click on anyone, let's say on my own side here, I want to try and get something that has values inside. Yes. Uh, okay. So on my side here, I have a Jira app. That's Atlassian Jira. And I can see a folder called Catch. Inside this Catch folder, that's where it stores probably tokens, files, um, anything that it needs to work, right? And this folder is just to specific to my app, specific to the Jira app, to the WhatsApp app, it's specific to the Facebook app. So no other app can actually access that section of the memory card. Do you get that? So that's one way you can store your data in on a device. The other one is shared storage, right? Shared storage. This one is somewhere in a memory card. So I have the First Bank app, right? On the First Bank app, when I'm done with the transaction, it gives me a receipt. Okay. From there, I can say I can say save to gallery. When I save this receipt to gallery, I can find the image in my gallery app. Okay. So it means it's accessible by everyone. Do you get that? That's a shared storage. We use this media store API to get the file part. Okay. Another part is the app preferences. App preferences are like shared preference, right? And that's what most apps use for saving your user information. Okay. So when you log in, right, somewhere it saves you that this user has logged in. So log in true. Okay. If your username is Jephthah, somewhere it saves that username is Jephthah. So just key values. Have you used shared preferences before? Do you have anyone that has experience with that? Shared preferences, under shared preferences. Has anyone used that before?
Yes, yes.
Excellent. So you see that just key value, put string, put int, you get, put double, put boolean. That's the way it works. Okay. And the last option here is databases. Coming. I've gone past where. Yes. So last option here is databases. So databases, like the name implies, right, is like the Android version of MySQL, MS SQL, MongoDB. Other options we have PostgreSQL, right? Jimmy, you should have experience with this. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Exactly. So we have a minimized, or what I call it, like something small, a smaller version of all these kind of databases in Android. Okay. So next slide. Before Room came in, so I'll be talking about Room generally. So before Room came in, there's something called SQLite database. Has anyone worked with that? That should sound familiar.
Yes, I have.
Yeah, so there's something we call SQLite database. It still exists. Okay, we still have it in Android, right? So we have the SQLite database on the Android as the small version, the low version of these gigantic databases that we have online. Okay, so it's small and compact. Okay, it's not so big because Android devices doesn't have enough storage, enough memory to handle big databases. So you have a small version. So this is how we write databases. This is how we initialize databases in Android before Room came in. So if you can see it, you can see that you have a public class, DB helper, extends, SQLite, open helper. So you have to do this for every single project that you have. Okay, every single project that needs to interact with the database needs to go through all of this. So you have to create an helper class. Okay, from the helper class, you see on, can you see my screen very well? On line 24, right? And someone read that, what we have there. Line 24.
DB execute SQL, DB contract info.sql create underscore table.
Excellent. So there's a DB contract class somewhere. Okay. The DB contract class works. So that's why you have the contract. So it creates a kind of, how do I put it now? Like a kind of contract, an agreement with your Android database. Okay. So this thing has a way, we call it content providers in Android. Content providers allows you to share your database information, your app information with other apps, right? So if you want to access that that content provider, you have to go through all of this. You have to create your table with this. Then when you need to upgrade, you have to run SQL queries, right? And it's very cumbersome. I'm sure it's cumbersome. See the way the code is written. Now this is just, I'm sure this is version 5.0. Then you know that this class will have extended, have grown very, very big, right? So before Room, this is how we do queries. Okay, database queries. You have to write all of this before you can access your database, and it's painful. It's really painful. I can assure you of that, because it's something I've worked with in the past, right? As at 2014, right? This was the in thing in Android development. You have to write the query. You have to write this kind of function method, right, to perform queries, to perform inserting, to do delete, to do updates. You have to go through this pain. And you notice a URI, there's a URI parameter in that function. Can you see it? Right? Hello? Yes. So this URI is more like what you see in that contract, in the contract screen. This contract .info. So inside that class, you have the URI that you need to call. So that URI specifies your table name, specifies your table information generally inside the URI. So it's more like a file path. So it's saying, go to this file path, pick this data, do this projection, have this selection in this sort order. So you go through this page every time you need to access your database, you access your information that you have stored or you want to query from the database. So the downside of content providers or managing SQLite is that you have to manage cursors by yourself. Okay, you have to manage cursors by yourself. So what cursors is like the object that you get from the database. So you have your database that contains a user, let's say a user table. Okay, on the user table you have the ID, you have the first name, the last name, date of birth, address, all that. Okay, so a single column, a single row of your database table is called a cursor. I'm trying to give you this this preview so that you can have an idea of what Room is trying to bring into the table, right? So cursors gives you an idea of what your rows are in your database. So also another side is that you need to undo database queries all by yourself. Okay, you have to write the SQLite, you have to like SQL queries, select asterisk from users, where this, where that, and it's painful. Okay, another downside is that it's hard to test. It's not an easy thing to test it. You can't even test. So it's on very rare occasions that you see code bases that uses SQLite and are tested. Okay, even if they are tested, they are probably testing other parts of the code, not database part. Okay, so you can expect crashes because you can't even test that part of your code. Okay, then content providers. I mentioned content provider before. Okay, it gives an idea. It gives you the opportunity of sharing your data with other apps. Okay, has anyone used the contact API in Android before? Contact, if you want to see the contacts of people, probably your app needs contact. So in the Carbon mobile app, you have something like that uses contact. So let's say you want to send money to someone and you need the phone number. You don't know the phone number offhand. From the app, you can just load the user's contact and you select the phone number like that. So to be able to access that part of your phone, we use content providers. So content providers is more like an overlay on SQLite. Okay, gives you an opportunity of querying, inserting on top of SQLite database, right? Instead of you to be writing your queries, in how would I put it now? Select asterisk from users. No, there's a fancy way that content providers allow you to do it. And another one is about third-party ORM libraries. So an example of ORMs are object relational mappers. They built on top of SQLite so that you can have an easy experience, a fancy experience with your databases. Okay, we have the example of Green DAO and RemDB. RemDB is actually common. It's a common database in Android. And that's because it gives you this kind of simplicity that you don't get in content providers and SQLite databases. Okay, it abstracts all the functions and gives you something nice, something fanciful to work with. Okay, like I said earlier, if you have any questions, please just pause, let me know, so we talk about it. Okay, so moving forward, we have Room coming. All right. Yes, so Room database. These are the improvements that Room database is bringing to the table. Okay, Room is an ORM library, just like Rem, just like GreenDAO, Sugar ORM that we mentioned before. So it's an ORM library. It maps your database objects to Java or Kotlin objects. Now, if you have used Hibernate, I don't want to use Hibernate. Jimmy, you did a little bit of software for Android.
Yeah, Hibernate is an ORM.
Yes, exactly. So Hibernate, Entity Framework, all these C# and Java lingo. So it's you have that kind of functionality in Room. Okay, just write your Java class or your Kotlin class. Room will understand it and work alongside. Okay, So you don't have to go through the process of saying create table, create if not exist, table this, primary key this. If you've written SQL queries before, okay, you don't have to go through all that with Room, okay. And like RemDB, like GreenDAO, like Sugar ORM, is an abstraction layer over SQLite. Okay, like I said earlier, SQLite is database for Android apps, for the Android device itself, right? SQLite is a database, so you're not removing SQLite from the picture. You're just having an abstraction over it for the so that we can be able to use SQLite easily without any pain. Room came into the picture. Another benefit for Room is compile time validation, right? So if you're using content providers or using the default SQLite table creation, until you run your app, you won't know where you have problems, right? Your SQL queries are validated when your app is running. And that's not advisable. It's not even a good practice at all, right? But with Room, your SQLite, your SQL queries, right, they are validated at the point of compiling. So your Android Studio tells you this SQL query will not work. This query will work. This is downside. Like it gives you that kind of idea of your code, of your query, even before you run the app. Okay, that's a big plus left to me, right? And another benefit for Room is that it works well with live data and RxJava. Has anyone done anything like that before? Live data, have you had any experience with it?
RxJava, yes, or live data, no.
Live data, no. Okay, so live data is yeah.
Okay.
What do you say?
No, never mind. I think
I can't hear you very well. Sorry.
I was talking about the live data, but you can go on. Don't worry.
Okay. So live data is more like what brokers, receivers, event boss, event managers will do for you. Okay. So it's just to let you know that something has happened, something has changed, just to notify the callers. Okay, it's a notification, more like a notification system within Android. Okay, and RxJava, I think there was meant to be a guest session that talks about RxJava. Have you had any of that? I saw that on the schedule.
Yes.
Excellent. So at least you're familiar with what RxJava has to offer. So Room database works quite nicely with RxJava. Okay, and that's a plus. Okay, and another thing that we need to emphasize here is that database queries, database transactions are not meant to be done on a UI thread, right? And that's where this whole RxJava thing comes in. RxJava gives you the opportunity of doing some things on specifying the thread that you want to work with for your computations. Okay, so moving into Room works this way. So these are the components that you get in Room. Okay, they're called entities and DAOs. I said DAOs are data access objects, right? So your Room database is somewhere on the side. Okay, you have the DAOs in between. They are intermediaries. I'll show you the code so you know what you're talking about. So DAOs are intermediaries between your database and your app, right? So more like what your repository will do if you're using the repository pattern in your Android app. So it's somewhere in between, okay? It shields you from having to access the Room database directly, okay? So we also have the entities. Entities are classes, Java class, Kotlin class, anyone that works, okay? From your entities, you can Your entity is the only one that you need to really relate with in your app. Okay, but the DAO, the database queries that you need to do, update, delete, create within your app. Okay, so DAOs get entities from DB and persist changes back to DB. If you see the diagram, you see that there is a two-way arrow. Okay, from the rest of the app to the DAOs, and the DAOs back to the rest of the app. So it's a two-way communication. So this is an example of how DAOs look like. This one is our entity, right? So on the entity, I want you to notice, take note of the items in yellow. I made the colors distinct so we can have a feel of what's happening. So this is a Kotlin class named user.kt, right? User.kt. It's a data class. And you can see there's a primary key. If you've written SQL queries before, you know what a primary key is. So Room uses annotations so we can have a kind of simplistic view of what you are doing, right? So primary key just tells you this field ID is a primary key, okay? And all your entities, as much as possible, needs to have a primary key. The same way your database on the back end, MySQL, SQL, MongoDB, all these things. Same way they need to have. Room databases also need to use a primary key, at least. Okay. Now this column info is an annotation to change information about your column. Now you notice that this first name has been written, the val first name has been written in camel case, right? But now we don't want the camel case to show in our database. So we have to specify the name as first underscore name. Okay, so there's some other parameters that you can get from column info, but for now, this is what we need it to do. Okay, and another thing I want to take note is the entity, entity annotation. So it specifies the name of the table. Okay, so by the time you start doing some complex queries, you start seeing how this entity comes into play. Apart from table name, there's another part where you can determine the primary key. You can specify the primary key somewhere in this entity annotation. And you can also specify if you have embedded classes. We'll talk about those ones later on. So notice that this class does not have any complex object. It only has int and strings. So those are the basic types that your Room database can accept. Can accept a string, can accept an int, a Boolean, just the primary data types, okay? The primitive data types, you can accept all of them, but you cannot accept objects. When you start bringing objects, you don't accept them. But there's a tweak, okay? There's a tweak we use to have our Room database accept objects. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. You're clear now. We can hear you. You're audible now.
Okay. I went up a few minutes, right?
Yes, yes. So you're talking about
Okay, so
tweaking.
yeah, excellent. Is everybody still there?
Yes.
Excellent. Yes, so let's just keep sharing my screen. So I was asking if we have anyone that has a question at this point before we proceed. Is there anyone? Hello?
No question for now. Don't worry. Okay, when we
All right. So can I still see my screen now?
no. No.
Okay. Let me do something. Okay. Yeah. So like I said earlier, we have a tweak that we use to have objects in our databases. Okay. So we'll talk about that very soon. So this is an example of a DAO class. Okay. Can someone read what you can see on the screen?
User DAO KT, DAO interface user DAO at query select star from user font get all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And another person continue from where it stops.
Okay. Function get all list of users. Then at query, select all from user. Where user ID in user IDs. Function load all by IDs. User IDs integer array list of users.
Okay.
Then you have
Yeah,
a
just
query.
yeah, it's okay. So what do you notice from this code? Is there anything that catches your attention?
The SQL queries.
Okay, the SQL queries. Now, like I said earlier, we have SQLite as a database on Android. You can't overrule that. Okay, and Room is giving us an abstraction over SQLite, right? And the good part of this is that the way you are seeing this query at install or delete, they are actually validated by your Android Studio. Okay, you don't have to run your code before you see that your query is not working. Okay, so the first annotation on this thing is at DAO. You are saying that this class is a DAO class. Okay, and Room should undo it as such. So what Room is doing is that it's creating functions in the background, okay, for you to be able to access your DB. Now, if you remember from the diagram that we had before, we said DAO is an intermediary between your Room database and the rest of the application. Okay, so from your application, you can just call get all, load all by IDs, find by name, right? It goes into the database and pick what you need from there. Okay, now this get all function, this is a Kotlin code, right? A Kotlin class. And this says at query, select all, select asterisk from user, saying go to the user table, pick everything, pick all the items, all the columns, give me the list of users. And notice that this function is returning the list of user, right? Meaning that whatever Room is getting from the user table, it should map everything into the user class that you have already. Remember, we had this user class. Yes, this user class, right? We had this. So you're saying anything that that Room is getting from this query should map it and give you as a list of users. Okay. Now look at this second function. It says select all from user where user ID in user IDs. Right. So this is the way in which you send parameters into your room database. Okay. So this is more or less saying find users that have any of the IDs in this list of IDs, right? This load by IDs are setting a parameter, and that's an int array parameter. So it's more like, if you are familiar with Java, right? It's more like saying int array, the square bracket, right? The square bracket array in Java. So you're saying pack all these IDs. Any user that has any of these IDs, return them for me as list of users. Okay, so this is the way in which you send parameters into room. And also the in, if you notice the in keyword. In keyword is used in SQL. It's a general SQL query, SQL keyword. Okay, it's used to find items based on a given list. Okay, let's say you want to look for users that their surname is Afolayan, right? Just say select all from user where last name in Afolayan, or where last name is Afolayan and Jephthah and Jimmy and like anyone that has that their last name falls into any of the items in the list, they are returned to you in the list of user, right? And this other one, find by name, is just showing us that you can actually write your complex queries in this query annotation, right? If you have used JPA, if you have written Java Spring before, JPA gives you this kind of opportunity also to be able to write your raw queries. And your raw queries are actually mapped into a Java class or into a Kotlin class, as the case may be. Okay, so in this find by name function, you are saying find the user that has the first name and the last name as the one notice that this is not a list. Okay, it's not a list of users because you're already saying give me just one, right? So if by the time you're writing your code, you wrote a list of users, your code return an error because it's not getting a list. It's actually getting a single item because of your query. So your query actually gets mapped into a Java class. Okay, and that one is the insert and delete. Insert is so this insert all is saying you can insert multiple items at once, right? Room handles that for you. And notice you're not restricted by name. The name of the function is just for simplicity on your own side, right? You already know what the function is doing. And as much as possible, which is a best practice in Android, right, is to name your function with what the function exactly is doing, nothing more, right? Your function should not be load all by ID, and it should be fetching by last name. Okay, so the general coding standard, let your functions depict what it's actually doing. So find by name, insert all, delete, they should be as simple as possible so that if anyone else is reading your code, they have an idea of what's actually happening in the background. So this part, so this is how you initialize your database. Now compare this to the one we had here, right? This is how you do for SQL database originally before Room came in, right? So compare it with this. This thing is simpler. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, why do you think it's simpler? What are the specific things that you see that make it okay? This thing looks good. Let me show you the previous one again. Right, this is one, then this is two. Okay, you notice that this is saying at database, right? At database. Now notice we used at entity somewhere, we used at DAO somewhere. Now we are having a database. So meaning this is our database class. So everything concerning database is happening from inside this place, right? So the annotations are actually for simplicity, right? Another thing you should notice is the entity part, right? Database is accepting entities. Entities equal to array of user. So by the time you have more classes, just have user dot class, right? Comma, post dot class. If you are doing something like Instagram, post dot class. If you are doing something like Facebook, probably friends dot class. If you are doing like Twitter, you have Twitter, like tweet dot class. Okay, then your links, right? So another thing I need you to notice is that our entity class, no, the DO class is an interface, right? The DO class is an interface, but the database class is an abstract class. Do you know the difference between the two? Difference between abstract classes and interfaces.
Abstract class has some methods already implemented, and interface has not all of its methods not implemented.
Exactly. That's a very important point in differentiating abstract classes and interfaces, and interface classes. Okay, abstract classes have implementations. Okay, and you can also, let's say, implement the class and provide your own implementation for it. But interfaces don't have such, at least in Java. Okay, I think Java 11 started having something about implementing some things and interfaces. Okay, but that's a talk for another day. Okay, but abstract classes have implementations. So you can actually have your functions inside this class. Some other things that you need to manipulate your database. But for now, we don't need that. Okay, so all we need for now is just to be able to declare our user DAO. Now, notice the reference to this user DAO. Come back here. The reference to the user DAO class inside the database class. We already saw entities, our user, the class, somewhere up there. Now we are seeing our DAO, right? I want you to see this image again. Are you seeing the relationship? Our entities, DAOs, and the room DB, and what we have here, right? So it's more like giving you an overview of what your database is all about. And that is your version. See that this one is version equals to 1. So meaning this is your first iteration. This is the first time you're starting your app. You've not done any modification. So your database is still fresh, right? It's the first time. So by the time you start having multiple, let's say you start having updates. Now let's say this user class. Remember this user class just has the ID, the first name, the last name, right? Now with this, you went live. You deploy the app to Play Store, right? Now, later on, I discover that we need to add user address into this user information, user address and user phone number, okay? And remember, you have customers, clients that are already using your app in production, okay? So you don't just come here and create a class and create the address string, phone number string. You don't just do that. We talk about migrations in the next few slides, right? That's a way of saying to the database, I want to add something more, okay? I'll be adding something more into this DB. So let's talk about that. So the next thing I want you to notice is this DB, this val DB, this DB field, right? So this field is a way of initializing your database. Now we have declared our abstract class called app database that extends room database. Okay. Now we need to actually use the database in our app. So you are saying room.database builder. We need the context of the application, right? So the context is what room uses to create your database file. Okay. And you're also saying use the app database class for all our database transactions. All our database information is all encoded inside our app database class, the Java. Okay, and this Java is coming because everything was written in Java, and now we are going Kotlin. Okay, so Kotlin and Java actually works together in a very beautiful way, right? So this last part is the database name, and that's what I call app database. As you can give that any name you want, any name that works for you. Okay, they're not restricted. You're saying you're specifying the name of the database to use. So in the future, let's say you want to create a new database entirely, you want to dump the one that was there before. Just come here, change the database name, and you have a fresh DB. As simple as that. Okay. So when you're done with all the configuration, you say to DB build. So this build works with the builder pattern. Okay, where you set your parameters and you build. So we don't have to actually do .set. This one makes life easy for us. Now, to summarize everything, right? All the annotations that you need to take note of. Okay, these are the main annotations that you get to use on a normal day. Okay, we already talked about at entity, right? At entity is for your class. Okay, your model classes, your Java class, your Kotlin class. Okay, contains your models, exactly what should be in a table of a database. We have at database to specify your database information. Okay, specify your to manage your whole database. Okay, so you annotate your database class with their database annotation. Then you have primary key. Primary key gives you an idea of what the primary field in that table is. The example that we had then was that of UID. UID is our user ID, and that's the primary key for our user table. Okay, column info allows you to specify column information. It's just the way the name implies. See how simple it is, right? Then we have at query. Okay, at query notifies the room DB that this is a query, it's an SQL query, and you treat it as such. Now, ignore is an important annotation in a room database because it tells the room DB to actually ignore some fields. Okay, let's say, are you with me? Oh, I'm just speaking.
Yes, no, I with you.
Excellent. So ignore. Let's give an example of this user entity, right? So I'm going back and forth so you can have an idea of, a mind idea of what we are talking about. Now, given an example of this user entity, right? Somewhere you have your profile picture. Okay, profile picture. So let's say you are saving your profile picture. Let's say you're getting the value from the DB, and you're attaching it to the user inside this place, right? So you're using this user class to fetch items from the DB using your retrofit. Okay, your retrofit is using this user class to bind things, JSON from the DB, from the backend API, right? So from there, it's getting bitmap. Bitmap, that's your base64 image. And you don't want to save that image in your database. Okay? Just using it to get values from retrofit. So you don't want to save it to your database. You just put the at ignore annotation. At ignore annotation. So that tells RoomDB that don't create a row, a column for this. Don't create this column in my table. I don't need it. Okay, ignore. So ignore this field. The same way that you have first name at column info on first name, you have at ignore on, let's say, profile picture. Okay, so you use that to exclude fields that you don't need from your database. And another one is embedded. Embedded is one way of having classes, okay, full classes inside your table. Okay, now another example from here is taking a look at this user information. Okay, the way you model your class is that you have the user information, then you have an address class. Okay, address now has PO box, city, it has state, it has country, right, inside your address class. And you want to bind this address class alongside the user. Okay, so you can have a reference to it in your database. So use the embedded annotation. So embedded links the database. You know, address as your database. So that's on table, right? So inside that table, there's a link that connects your user to the address. Then the last one is relation. The relation gives you something about using foreign keys, so that when you do a query on one table, you can actually pick information on the other table. You can do all this inner join, all this left join, outer join to get more information on these relations. So let's talk about CRUD operations. I think I already gave you an idea of what you can expect in your DAO, right? So this is an example of CRUD operations. Like I said earlier, CRUD is create, read, update, and delete. Okay? Create, read, update, and delete. And that's practically what you need to do in a database. A database necessarily gives you that functionality. You can create items by inserting. Okay, you can read items by doing a query. You can update by calling an update function. Then you can do delete. Okay, these are basic functionalities. So any question before we proceed? Just to ask. Okay, coming. Yes, so to insert, you need to just put the insert annotation, right? So insert is more like the C part of CRUD. That's the C part, to create. So insert is the annotation that we use to create items in our database. Now, notice that there is a new item. We have on conflict equals to on conflict strategy dot replace. Now, on conflict strategy is an enum class inside the RoamDB implementation. Okay, you are saying that, no, we already have a primary key, right? So when the user ID is the same, you are saying it should replace the item. So let's say formally we have user ID 1, the first name is Jephthah, then the last name is Afolayan. Okay, now I'm coming in with another user that has the same user ID as 1. We don't really specify the primary key. Now the first name is Jephthah, but the last name somewhere is Adeleke. Do you get? So yes, that means it's most likely the same user. The primary key, we have tagged that this is what makes my item unique in my database. So when you find another item that has the same ID, that means that it's still the same. They're probably updating the item. So you're saying replace the old item with a new item. So the other options, replace, there's one that you cascade, that means you create another item, even if the primary key is the same, which is one complex strategy. But most of the time we use replace. That's why I've specified it in the example. Now the other one is read, the hard part of our code. Okay, read, that's where you have your full SQL query. Can do anything you want at this point. Select all from user, where this, where that, select what else do you have? You can do count, okay? Select count, asterisk from user. Any SQL query that you can think of is possible inside the query annotation, okay? And I need you to take note of that very well. So I probably in the future, when you start having large entities, large models, okay, where you need, you have a primary key user ID, and you need to get information from like 3-4 different tables, okay, this will save you a whole lot. I'll also show you a live code that has all these things that I'm talking about, something that is in production, okay. So next is the update and delete functions. You don't need to do anything, any special thing in this part. Just put your annotation at update, at delete, and it works. Okay. So notice that just accepting, you can accept a single user, okay, and you can accept a list of users. This varhags users is a way of saying in Kotlin that you can have a collection. So you can have a single user, you can have multiple users, you can have a list of users. Okay, so based on the class, based on the value you set in, Room understands what to do. So if you're sending in a single user, it knows to remove just that user. If you are sending in a list of users, it knows to remove those items in the list and remove them from the database. So we move on to type converters. Okay, type converters. Type converters is a way, is something we use to store custom objects in a single database column. Now I'll show you an example of this, and the annotation here is at type converter. So with this, you're telling the room database that, dude, I need to put in a complex object, okay, that you don't have the capability of holding by yourself, right? No, you said databases can only hold integers, strings, booleans, what other thing? Basic data types. Okay, so you're just telling the room database that you need to put in complex stuff, right? And this is an example. Now, remember that date is a complex object. It's a Java object. Yeah, it has multiple items inside it. It has time in millis. It has some complex thing that we don't even want to know about, right? But we need to save that date in our DB. Okay, so using an example of the user entity that we've been talking about since, let's say we want to add date of birth, right? We want to add date of birth into our item, into our entity, right? Just put in the same way you put your string, your int, just put in date. Okay, so when you put in your date and you specify a type converter like this, you are telling the room that anytime you find date object in my entity, convert it to long. Okay, see this one, you have at type converter, right? So this is from timestamp, and this one is date to timestamp, right? So this date to timestamp is what it will use to convert your given date the date object, use it to convert it into a long. Remember that long is a type that can stay in your DB. Say when you have integer, you have short, you have byte, you have long, you have boolean, you have float. Okay, long can also stay in your DB. So you're converting the date to a long before saving it into DB. Okay, so automatically Room understands this. Okay, and it does accordingly. So by the time you are converting it back, let's say, so remember that the DB already saved it as long. Bit of part as long. 159.00000123456, like 11, I think like up to like 11 characters in that long item of a date. Okay, so the room already saved it as long. So by the time it's coming back, let's say you do select asterisk from user, right? It's speaking that long in this from timestamp function. It's speaking it long, right? And converting it to a date. So when you saved it in, you saved it as a long, as a date. When you're getting it back, you're getting it as a date, of which in the background that's converted to a long. Then you're querying it, is getting it back as a long. And also notice that there's a question mark. If you're familiar with Kotlin, it means this item is nullable, right? It is nullable, meaning that your DB can go get the query and eventually the item is null. So if it is null, it shouldn't crash your app. It just says .let. .let means just do this when it has value, when it's not null. Okay, so to make Room understand that you have created a converter, you add the converter class into your database class. You see what I've annotated. Can anyone read what we have in yellow? Just to be sure.
At type converters.
Exactly.
Converters class.
Converters class. Excellent. So remember we already had at database. We specified our entities. We specified the version. Now we need to specify at type converters. So this is a way of telling the Room DB that, okay, so this converter I've created is for you. Okay. Anytime you see values from my converter, know that I'm the one sending it for you. So this one here is a converter class, right? And here we have the converter class as our item. So if you have multiple converters, let's say you have for array list, you have for date, you have for some object within your app, okay, custom object within your app, you can append them to this list. Just keep having comma. You can accept a list of items. That's why it's called type converters. It's not just one. So you can accept multiple classes as much as possible within your app. Okay. So your class remains the same. Your database class remains the same. Just the inclusion of the type converters annotation. Notice this. This annotation here is at type converter. The other one is type converters, meaning this one is accepting multiple converters. Okay, and this is just a single converter. So it's important to take note of that. Now, the other part that we need to talk about before closing is migrations, right? Migrations is a way of notifying your database, your Room DB, that you are creating something more into your DB, right? So this is an example of an app that requires to add a fruit table into the DB, right? Now, our user app has gone live, okay? Now said, we can actually add health information into this app. So can I get the kind of fruits that my users will like? Okay, the kind of fruits that they love the most. Okay, so with this, you are saying to database.execute SQL, create table fruit. Okay, create a table called fruit. you specify this is the SQL query, right? You are still doing SQL query, but the beautiful part is that you can validate this query at compile time. Very easy, okay? And the convention in naming migrations is, notice this, val migrations underscore 1 underscore 2 equals object migration 1 comma 2, right? This is like the naming convention. You are saying I'm creating a migration from version 1 to version 2 of my app, right? Now, the migration class accepts two parameters, and that is the start version and the old version and the new version, right? Old version is version 1, new version is version 2. Okay? So with this, it knows that your app is going from version 1 to version 2, right? And before we proceed, there's one part that you need to see. Now, notice that you have version equals to 1 in this database annotation, right? So to actually run your migration, you need to increment this version number, okay? Version number will now turn to 2. So by the time the version number changes to 2, you understand that something else has happened, okay? Then it looks for the migration, the appropriate migration to go for, right? Now, the third part, the third thing that you need to do, after creating, this is the first thing, you create a migration, add the things you want to add. You can have alter table, drop table, delete database. Any practical SQL statement can happen inside your migration function. So this is the first thing, create a migration. Then incrementing your version number should be the last thing. So the second thing we'll be doing is adding migrations to the database creation function. Now, this is where our database was before. Where are you? Coming. I want to show you now. So this is where our database function was. Can you see? Val db equals to room.database builder, application context, app database class, the Java, app database, everything .build. So this is the way our DB creation class was before, right? So by the time we hired the migration, we have this, right? So we are saying add migrations. Notice this is also plural. So it means that if you have migration 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 5 to 6, you can have them following this order. Migration 1, 2, comma, migration 2, 3, comma, 3, 4, 4, 5, and so on and so forth. Okay? This is important. If you don't have this, your database is not aware of your migration, right? So now to trigger your migration, to actually run this migration, you need to call this version number. Yes. So you need to call increment the version number. So you have it as at database entities equals to array user class, comma, fruit class. Remember, we have created a fruit class in our migration. Okay? You have to create a fruit class, add it to your entities, then version, you increment it. So by the time room sees a new version, it goes to your migrations table, picks the migration, runs the SQL, right? And from there, it makes sure that your DB works as expected. So meaning that by the time you go live, deploy your app to Play Store, your users download the app, right? It's not wiping the existing DB, okay? It's just adding the new part, just the new part that we have added. It's adding the fruit table into our database, and everyone will be happy. You just see that they have a new feature inside the app, okay? But in the background, all these things have happened. That's the SQL query has been run, that's created a new table, and everything is fine. Now imagine you have your fruit table created, you added it to the entities, but somehow you didn't increment your version number. And Room won't even allow you to proceed. Room will not allow you to proceed. Okay. Now, in the case where you didn't run this migration, you don't have a migration at all. So just just added a new class. You can be very sure that you are having issues in production. Okay. I'm talking from personal experience now. I had this issue before I even learned to know so much about Room. Okay. That time I had back and forth because it was my first time using Room. So I made a change in my DB. I didn't even create migration. I didn't know about it, right? So what you don't know, it's your senior, the way Yoruba will say it, right? So I didn't know about it. I was the only developer on the app. I just deployed the app, down, Play Store. So my QA guys, they were doing regression, like since app went to Play Store. I started seeing error. 4 a.m. We are fixing bugs. It's not a nice experience. I remember that those times I just laugh. Okay. Of migrations is that you can actually test your migrations, right? So you know that your migration is working or not working, right? And that leads us to the last section of this presentation. Okay, that's testing your migrations, testing your database. Okay, now this is an instrumented test. Can anyone give me the reason why it's instrumented? Do you probably have any idea?
You said what?
Can you give me the reason why this test is an instrumented test and not a unit test? Do you know about unit test and instrumented test?
No.
No. Wow. Okay. So let me just give you a brief overview. So unit tests or instrumented tests, okay, is a way of, or they are both ways of, how do I put it now? Ensuring that your code works. Okay. So unit test is testing the unit of your app, just the way the name implies. Okay, it's testing a small part of your app, the smallest part of your app. Okay, let's say you have an add function, add. So inside the function you have, so it's accepting int A and int B. Okay, inside it you're saying return A plus B, right? So you come to your test, you say, let me ensure that my function add works in every scenario, right? So meaning that when I send 1 plus 1, it gives me 2. When I send in 1 million plus 1 million, it doesn't break, right? Now, this doesn't happen every time. So we use test scenarios that you are sure that will not happen every time. And we call those ones edge cases, right? So in the process of testing, you will come across edge cases, okay? So let's say in my code, I'm asking for people's date of birth, right? But somehow my calculation ends at 1970. Okay, on a rare occasion, someone born in 1950 picks up my app, okay, and puts in 1950 January 23rd. You know, on a normal ground, they have to break because it doesn't have the provision for someone has dropped. It doesn't have the provision for what's it called now? For 1950 name. Okay. So with unit tests, you can actually determine if you have a break on in special occasions or passing in special conditions. So unit test is the part that you run from your Android studio. Okay. It doesn't require your Android app in any way. It doesn't require your app to be running. Okay. But instrumented tests will ensure that your app is actually running. Okay. So your DB does not exist on your Android Studio, it exists on your app. So it has to run your app. Okay, it's not like you're saying you want to be sure that when someone presses a button, something happened. Okay, so you can't test that on your Android Studio. You have to go, it has to happen live on your app. Okay, that's why you have instrumented tests. Okay, before I proceed, the person that dropped, is it possible to get in touch with the person to come back online?
No, I think he probably has issues with his network.
Network.
Coming off and on, coming off and on.
Ah, I see. Okay, so instrumented tests happens on your device, on your live app, right? More like you've run your app. So, or let me say, the Android Studio has to run your app. So actually have a feel of what's happening. So this is where instrumented test comes in, right?
Sorry, Jephthah, like they're kind of similar to like system tests. Like, unit tests, you're testing separate components as like classes, individual classes and stuff. Unit tests or system tests, like you're testing the interactivity between classes and everything, like the whole system together. So instrumented tests are kind of similar.
Yes, they are similar, but I think system test is more like larger than
instrumented.
Yes. So instrumented is more like it's testing a section of your app. Yeah, it's not like the whole integration. Okay, it's testing a section of your app, but it's testing it on the app, not in your Android Studio. Do you get? Okay, like you want to test that a file has been created on your phone, right? You don't test that on your Android Studio. Do you get? It has to run the app, create a file, see that the file actually works, and comes back to you and say, okay, green. The file has been created. Yes. Do you get?
Yeah.
So compared to system tests where you have probably you've written a test suite, okay? Just run the test and it starts pressing itself, pam, 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 move to this page, move to that page. You get all by itself.
Yes.
So it's testing from login to sign up, to sign out.
Yes.
Register, all those processes. That's system.
Yes.
They are testing the whole integration by itself. But this one is just section.
Okay.
Section of your app.
Okay.
Yes. So this is where instrumented test comes in. Now, you see that we have initialized our user DAO and test database. Okay. So we also called application provider, get application context. Remember that when we were creating our database, right? We had something like this: room, then we have the context, then we have the database name. Do you remember? Let me show you this part where something like this. No, this one. Yes, this part, right? That's something like room, the database builder, then the have database class, the Java, then the application context, right? So we have something like that. So here, we have in-memory database builder, the context, the application context. Okay, see, this is get application context. So we are still using the context of the application, right? Then we have the test database, the database class that you have created. So you are saying, I want to run this test on the test database class that I've created. Now, our user DAO is the user DAO that has been created for the user class. Okay. Now, another thing that you need to notice is this is done before. So in your tests, you have the before, the after sections of your test. You are saying before, that's why you do all your initializations. Anything that the test suite, test class will use, do it inside the before section. And the after is everything, like when you're done with the test. Okay, so this is where you dump all your memory stuff, all the files you've created, connections you've created, you dump them, clear them off. Okay, now this is a part. See this. So we are trying to create a user, right? We're trying to create a user from here. Okay, see that we are calling our user DAO.insert. We're having user DAO.find user by name. Okay, so if this can give you a green, it means that your insert and your find user by name section of your code is actually working. Okay, so you're saying insert a user that has the name as George. Okay, now you already have the user saved inside the DB, right? You're now saying find that user by name. Find the user that has a name called George. This just validates that your user was actually created in the DB. Okay, if this comes to null, it means something is wrong with your query. Okay, something is wrong with your code somewhere, and you need to go and fix it. Okay, so we are checking that the by name dot get 0 is equal to the user that we sent to it. Okay, remember that find the users by name is returning a list, right? Let me point that to you. One more. Yes. So find user by name. So it's not, this one is not or something like that. So find user by name is giving a list of names, list of users. Okay. So we have to ensure that the first item that is giving us is equal to the user that we sent to it. Okay, because this is the only scenario that we have created the user. Okay, so I would like to show you a live code, just like I said before, a code where I used room, I added a test, did the migrations, and everything was fine. Okay, I'm closing this. Yeah. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Hello. Yeah. So
Yeah,
you
we can
can
see your
see
screen.
another studio ID. Yeah. Can you see another studio ID?
Yes.
Excellent. So, can anyone read what they are seeing? Let me confirm that I'm seeing what you are seeing. We are all together. Can anyone read what we can see? Let me zoom this. Okay. Is anyone there?
At database entities organization.class, organization location.class, users class, user default location.class, history.class, clock in log.class, attendee.class, offline auth.class, notification details mode.class, location shifts.class,
Excellent. Thank you.
version.
I also want to confirm that class 12, right? Version 12. So just confirm that everybody can see what I'm showing. So this is a class, a project I've done in the past. Okay. So this we talk about database, right? See the list of entities. This is Java class. I'm sure you are familiar with Java. So, right? It's good this is not Kotlin. Okay. So this is entities. Let me mention entities. Can someone give me a recap of what entities are? Hello? Hello?
The entities, they're Java classes, but in the database, they are individual tables.
Excellent.
Database.
Excellent.
Database.
Excellent. Now let me go to organization. So organization, you can see that this is written February 2018. Right? This is a Java code. So somehow I add my primary key as ID before. No, we talk about primary keys. Yeah. But later on it was changed to the organization ID for reasons best known to me. Okay. This is my entity class. Okay. These are all getters and setters in my class. I have all of these basic strings inside my class. Okay. Now I've listed all the entities that needs to be recognized in my database, and my version is 12. Right? meaning I've upgraded from 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5, up to 12. Okay? And see this, type converters, what do you have? Array list converter class. Inside here, can you see? This is at converter. Remember we talked about this at converter and at type converter again. We have the from, and we have from the string and from the array list, meaning that sending array list to room is converting it to a JSON and saving it as string into the DB. By the time I'm querying, I'm getting back the items, the list, the string that was generated, that was generated from my array list is converted back into an array list for me. So I don't know somewhere, apart from me being the developer, I don't know that string is happening in the background. I just send in array list, right? And I get in array list, like that I'm querying it back. So it's seamless. Okay, now this is where I created my database instance, right? You can see that we have database builder, database class, and the name of the database. See this at migrations. Okay, migrations. I'm sending in a list of migrations. Whew. Can you see this? This is a whole lot. You can see migration 1 to 2, right? 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5, 5 to 6, 6 to 7, another, 9 to 10, 11 to 12. These are actually SQL queries, right? Actual SQL queries. See default, not null, regular, a lot of things. Alter table, add column, right? So if someone is getting my app, let's say the person add the app from the onset, right? From the initial state, okay? That's version 1. And I've created the app, I've worked on the app till version 5. And my latest migration is 11 to 12, okay? Room does a stepwise migration. Then it goes through 1 to 2. This person already started from version 1 before I started migration at all. Okay, it goes version 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5. All this happens without the user having an idea of what's happening in the background. Okay, so if this thing is not crafted very well, if it's not tested very well, if you probably do any rough work inside it, the users will know, because you give them issues, a lot of issues. And now they want to explain to thousands of users that yes, it's because someone was sloppy, I didn't do something right. Do you get? It doesn't work that way. Okay. Now at Carbon, we have up to like 500,000 users, active users. Okay. Now imagine the app is crashing on all their devices. Can be sure that someone's head is going up. So it's important to take notes, take careful note of these migrations, because they can cost you a lot. Okay, and this is one of the tests that I wrote. This is just like the one I showed you. Okay, I was testing my user DAO class. Okay, so here I'm creating the user, inserting the user, and getting the single user, just to be sure that my user got saved into the DB. Okay, and there's another part where I tested the migration. Now, the way you test migrations in Android, okay, just to be sure that your migration codes actually works, right? So all these SQL queries, they need to be validated, okay? Just to be sure that they all work as you have planned, as you have written it. You need to test them, okay? See the test. So I'm creating a temporary DB, right? Just temporarily. And I'm having this migration test helper, so I don't have to write test some code by myself. The developers of Room already created that for me. Okay, so it's easy to synchronize with it. It just uses what they have done and work alongside. So I've created all these DAOs and I'm testing my migration. See this function. Can you see this? Run migrations and validate. So it's going to run the migration. My current version is version 9, and it's meant to use the migration list. So it's picking from 9 to 12. So if you run the migration, so after running the migration, I try to insert a few things. Okay. So in the migration field, inserting this thing causes a lot of trouble for me. Okay. So I have to test that everything is fine before proceeding. So before even sending this app to QA, I have to validate that everything here is working fine. Okay, so these are now migration from my version 9, version 10. So I'm saying run migration and validate to version 10 using this migration. If this thing fails, it means, now see this 9 to 10. 9 to 10 has alter table, clocking log, add column, status, right? My clocking log class does not have the status item before. So I want to add the column status to it, okay? So it means that at the point of inserting stuff into this DB, right? If that status, if that migration is not successful, then this code here will crash because it is trying to access the clocking log, okay? So it will crash, right? And this is another part. I have an SQL query here. It has ID, location, user ID, action type, and the status, the new item that I've created, okay? The new column that I created in my migration here, okay? So if I'm trying to insert into this table and this column is not there, it's a flag, meaning my migration wasn't run successfully, okay? So you have to validate all these things before you even give it to QA. And if you eventually give it to QA, you have to validate it before it gets to production at all. Okay, so you have to have the mindset that your code must not break. Your users have to be happy about your product, and this kind of crashes should not be the one that will stop users from accessing your product. If you work in a company where a single user, a single customer is very important to you, you know how costly this is. Okay, at Carbon, I know a single user is very important. Okay, that single user might probably be a high performer in loans. Okay, the person wants to get loans. The person gets big loans, pays big interest. That's money for my company. Okay, so imagine me now having to lose the customer because of my own sloppiness. Me have to test my code. Okay, so it's very important to take note of that while you're testing while you're working. Test is very important. I'm sure one of the topics that will be treated in your guest sessions talk about tests. Okay, test is actually important in Android development because Android can give you a headache. Okay, something will work on your phone, on my test phone here, to work. To get to QA's phone, you start crashing. Why? Okay, so imagine not testing this thing very well and it gets to your users. That's double trouble. Okay, so should you need other information? Yes. So this is the reference. Can you still see my screen?
We can still see it.
Excellent. So you can see the references. So another point I want to make here is that in your Android development journey, right? Anything you come across, before you even go to Medium Post at all, before you go to Stack Overflow, check what the documentation says about it, right? Check what the developer documentation says about it. Can you see this? This is developer.android.com/training/. data storage room. Anything you need about room database, room DB, anywhere is here. Okay, I can share this slide. I don't know if the organizers will share that for you. Okay.
Yes, they have.
Oh, okay, excellent. That's fine. So it's very important that you go through documentations. Documentation is actually very important part of the development journey. Okay. Stack Overflow has millions of users that don't even know you. They don't care about your code, even though they try to be as truthful as possible. Okay. But there are bugs on Stack Overflow. Okay. The only true test of of uh, of, of truth, let's put it that way, sort of truth. The only sort of truth that you can have in Android development is going to the documentation of the developers themselves. Okay, so everything you need about Room is on this URL. You go there, you can see your migrations, you can see your entities, your DAOs. But in the process of developing and you now start encountering issues, that's when Medium posts start coming in. Okay, that's your next line of action. Medium posts. Most of the time, posts like that have gone through the experience. Now, imagine me having to write about Room. Okay, I think I should write about it soon. Yeah. So if I'm writing about Room, I'll be talking from experience because of what I've seen. Okay, not because I just want to answer any question. The way Stack Overflow will do for you. Okay, something I've experienced, something I've run on my system. I'll give pictures, diagrams to illustrate I've what I've experienced, what I'm doing. Okay, so if you still don't have the full grasp, or probably still have bugs, you still have issues, when you have used Medium Post, then you can now go to Stack Overflow. That's like number 3 in the hierarchy. The first one on the developer side. Second one, any possible Medium Post, trusted ones. If I think there's a trusted one, this Android developers one is trusted. Okay, and there's some other people that I follow personally that I've seen nice posts from them. Okay, and then you can start talking about Stack Overflow. Yeah. So finally, questions. What was this? Questions. Do you have anyone that has questions? Or you want to say this is very clear?
Sorry, I want to ask you, what is, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I want to ask you, when they say socket, because I've gone back to search on this and then I've searched, but I just want to be very sure. When they say sortable raw query, are they talking about normal SQL order by command or something else?
Stoppable what?
Raw query. Is it like normal query with order by, like a descriptor command order by?
Is it possible you type your question somewhere? There's a term I'm not getting very well.
Sortable raw query, like raw query,
Raw,
RAW query, raw,
raw
RAW,
queries.
yeah, sortable raw query. Is it normal queries
Yeah.
with order by,
Okay, so
order
raw
by
queries
SQL
are,
command?
yes, yes. So raw queries are actually
So,
raw queries. Like SQL queries. Okay, nothing more. Do you get? So you have the select asterisk by this, select asterisk from table where this insert values. Do you get? So the same way you have in normal SQL, you can have it in raw queries. So I think SQLite, the default SQLite has that kind of functionality. Okay, where you send in your raw queries. No, what these DAOs are giving, I'm coming, sorry. What these DAOs are giving us, right? No, you can send in parameters. Where is that thing? Yes, you can send in parameters. So this might not look raw as possible, right? But when you are writing one that does not depend on parameters at all, then that's full raw query. You get?
okay, so when it is sortable, it means it's one that has that depends on order by.
Stoppable.
Order. Sortable, like it is sortable, like
Oh,
something like sortable.
sortable.
Yes.
Yes, yes. So sorting in SQL is the order by.
Okay.
Okay, order by. So sortable raw query should be a query where you have the order by actually, right? And another thing that you can do if you want to use the order by, let's say you are in this room context, yeah, given your list, if you are using select aesthetic from a table, you're getting a list from there. Okay, from that list, you can sort by the field that you need it to be sorted by. If you don't want to do the SQL complex queries, right? So you can also sort your list when you get the list, even though that's just a level of computation, which is not needed anyways.
Okay. All
Are you
right.
clear?
Thank. Yes. Yes. Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
Someone wants to ask a question the other time.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I was going through your codes, but it looks a bit overwhelming.
Which one is that?
This your codes, the one you showed on your Android Studio.
Oh, that.
Yeah.
Why is it overwhelming?
Someone at least someone at my own level, I was just like, oh, this looks very overwhelming.
Okay, let me see. So which
Or,
part
or
is
better still,
overwhelming?
you can just share the code, so just get probably after and just go through it.
Okay, that's I just showed you this one to give an idea. It's actually large, I know. Let me now show you the logs. See, see, this is 2019 February. This is January 2019. This is September 28th. So it has gone through a lot of changes. You get, right? So
Okay.
this is big. I created one. I was thinking we were going to see before. So I created a simple one. Yeah. Let me just drag it out of the view. Okay. Let me not. Right. So can you see this one? This is, I named this student. Right. I used the example I illustrated in the code. Can you see this?
You can see it.
Excellent.
Okay, I think it would be nice of you to share this one because this one is very easy
Yes,
to follow.
sure. I'm going to, yes, that's even part of the thing I'm going to do after this class. So, or probably we will do it together. I'm going to push this code to GitHub, right? And make it public. Okay, you go through it. Then you're going to add, probably let's do it together. We're going to add test. I'm going to add test for migrations. Okay, but you said you don't know test yet, yeah? You have not done anything on test before.
No,
right?
not done anything in test.
Okay, so if you're not doing anything on test, I can just spend the test till probably when you go through. I think I saw unit test on your schedule. Okay, so all you just do for now is that you add migrations for this code. Okay, now let me run you through this code. So the way this code works is this. Remember the user class. This is just the UID, the first name, last name that we did, right? This part is clear, yeah? It's not as big as the other one, right? So this is user class. Then we have the user DAO. This is select all from user, order by user ID. Select all from user where UID is user IDs, right? And also I've you done anything on coroutines RxJava before? Is coroutines, are you familiar with coroutines?
No.
Hello?
No. Kotlin coroutines, no.
No.
All right. So this will probably be an opportunity for you to brush up. You don't need to add anything complex. So you're not dealing with the coroutines specifically. Okay, I just need you to work on the migrations part. So the coroutines and RxJava allows developers to do stuff on the UI, in the background, sorry. Like I said before, database communications, transactions are not done on the UI thread. So in Android, you have the UI thread, you have the background thread. Okay, background threads is used for resource intensive items. Okay, you want to do something on file, you want to go to memory card, you want to do something on the internet, you want to do something in DB, you have to use your what's it called now? You have to use the background thread, right? So coroutines and RxJava gives us that opportunity of doing stuff in the background. Okay, so you don't have to really bother yourself so much about that. Okay, so this is the DAO class. You can see it has the basic select asterisk, select from user, find by name. You know, we had this code inside that class, that slide I showed before, right? Yeah, something like this. Okay, you have this find by name, right? So find by name, insert all, then delete. Okay, and I've created a repository class. How will I explain this? I'm trying to use technologies like the standard, default standard Android patterns so that you can have a feel of how large projects are actually written. Okay, so I've used the repository pattern where you do implementations, interfaces, but just deal with the migrations part, right? So now in my view model, do you know what view models are? Have you used view models before?
No.
No, okay.
Yes. Oh.
So view models are just intermediaries between your background stuff and your UI. Okay, you can do your calculations, your manipulations from inside there. And your repository class is meant to hold anything that deals with data. So from here, you can make internet requests, and from here, you can make database calls. Okay, so inside the repository class, you have anything that concerns your data, you bond them together, then you inform your view model. The view model takes it and informs your activity. So this simple app is just an app for showing a list of users. Okay, shows a list of users, right? When you click the plus button, there's a plus button I created. It automatically, this is a fab, floating action button. It creates a user and inserts the user. Can you see? Insert user, right? And when the user is saved, this live data is called. Okay, as soon as the value comes in, the value is sent to a recycler view. The recycler view presents the new user on the UI. So let me run this so you can have an idea. So I'm coming. My screen just switched. Yeah. Can you see this? Can you see the phone? What was that? This is empty. Hello? Is anyone there?
Yeah.
Yeah, with you.
All right. Something is happening. Oh, I see. I'm coming. Okay. So I'm trying to run the app so you can have an idea of what's happening.
Hello, sorry, Jephthah. I only have
Yeah.
like 5% battery left. I don't have like light where I am.
Oh,
My battery is about to, yeah.
Oh, sorry about that. Let me just wrap. So I'll send you, I separately send to the organizers what you need to do. Okay. So what this app is doing in essence is when you click the plus button, right? It creates a user. Can you see? It creates a user and shows it on the UI, right? I'm clicking and it's adding the user. Can you see? Can you all see that?
Yes.
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 Excellent. Cool. So this is what the app is just doing, right? So the assignment in code that you should do is to add address. Are you writing?
Yeah, we do.
So yes, so add address and phone number. Address and phone number to the user's table. Do you get that?
You've got it. Address and phone number to user table.
Yes. So you are going to use migrations, the concept of migration, and the link that's shared in the slide. Follow through migrations, add it, and send a pull request to the GitHub URL I will send to you. Okay? Is that clear enough?
Yeah, that's clear.
Yes. So let me see if I can quickly create the URL, or probably anyone that's still available can share with the person that's going offline. Right?
Okay.
So let me create the repository for you. And from there, go on. So do you have any questions? I learned you're meant to ask or talk about general life experiences apart from codes.
So you said what?
So I'm asking, like, do you have any general questions apart from code? Right? Something different from code, just general Android development experience. Any questions in that regard?
Okay, I think the only thing is just we just want you to just share your what do you call it, your insight on how to scale through this part on the track we need to follow, you know, as by getting jobs, all those stuff, so as in the normal things we've actually gone through that probably could actually tell us, okay, fine, maybe we should do this or not that, something like that. Just more or less like an
Oh,
advice, professional advice.
all right, all right. So generally, what I'll advise on a normal day, right, is this: as a starting, or let me say intern Android developer, it's important that you have projects, okay, maybe one, maybe two, okay, projects that will help you to get into an interview. They get. So when I talk with new developers or intern developers, I ask them what have they worked on, right? So as I was talking to you, you were saying you don't use this, you don't use that. I understand you're just starting, right? But those concepts that you have used, that you have learned, right? It's important that you have an app, okay, an app in mind that you are using, as you are actually using those concepts to practice with. Do you get? So what happened to me was that while I was in school, I started Android development when I was in school, as early as 2013, 2014, right? And from there, I had to write an application for my school fellowship then, right? And the application just to contain the contact of fellowship members. So you have this address book that we use in fellowship then. So I just thought about it like, you don't have to be carrying this book. Now, let's say I'm coming from class, I need to visit someone. I don't have to be carrying the book along with me every time. Do you get? So what if I have an app that, as soon as I'm coming from class, I can always just check the app. So where is this person staying? Just check the person's address, go to the person's place, or probably call up the person, are you around? Without having to check the book. So I saw a problem and I had to fix it. So myself and my friend, we started working on it together. And another thing is that you should actually have someone you work with. Okay, you should need to have like co-developer, right? Because together you can actually do things together. So if you discover something, the other person can help you. you have problems, you can assist yourselves. So have someone that you work with, and also have co-developers that you work with also. Have projects that in mind, have problems to solve. So what made this project peculiar was that the first interview I had after school, right? The interviewer had to ask me, what app have I done? Like, do I have any app that I've worked on? Do you get? I had to show my interviewer the app. As soon as I showed the interviewer the app, the person said, we have this kind of app in our company. So unknowingly to me, they have that kind of app that they have the address and phone number of everybody, the unit of everybody in the company. I can just pick up the app and call up anybody. So almost like the same concept. Do you get? So as soon as the person saw the app, like, oh, we have this kind of app. So from that, I already knew that, okay, looks like I'm in, even from the day of interview. And I just leaving school. Do you get? So it's not like I had any special abilities. I'm still learning. But the fact that I had something to show for it got me in, right? And as soon as I was in, I was developing myself. That's another part, constant development. It's an important part of your Android development life, right? Constant development. Things change way faster than you can imagine. Like, there's still some things that I struggle with even Android development today. And that's because it happened when I was busy. I didn't have time to check it out. Okay. So it's important that you keep yourself up to speed. And also the last part is anything you learn, right? It's important that you also give back to the community. Now I'll show you something. This is my site. Can you see my screen? Hello?
No, we can't see your screen.
Okay, I'm sharing now. Yeah, can you see?
Yes.
Exactly. So this is my blog. See, I named it afolayanshey.com. Okay. So just a small profile about what I do. You get. So here, I've not done so much post here, but you can see that I have tutorials, like 2 or 3 of them, okay, that I've worked on. So anything you learn, it's important that you share it too. In sharing it, you're actually knowing it better, okay? People get to ask you questions that in a normal day. See, someone had a comment, I know this thing, I think thank you or something. See, how the bad times. Do you get? So this kind of things gives you the that drive to go on. Okay. If you have any issues, someone is there to answer you. When you fix something very tangible, write about it, put it online. Let someone know what you are doing. Do you get? It's an important part of. So imagine you coming to an interview with me. Okay. So I'm your interviewer. You have an app or 2 that you have deployed to Play Store, right? And you also have this kind of blog post. And you're coming in as an intern or intermediate developer. What excuse will I have for not taking it? What would be my excuse for not taking it? It probably be something not in Android development. Probably if the person has behavioral problems or HR does not sync with the person. That's a different problem. But technically, if someone can provide this kind of blog and provide, what is it called now? Provide at least 1 or 2 apps that I've worked on, while in the course of learning, I'm sure the person has a higher priority with me. Do you get? So it's quite important that you have those 3. Have an app you're working on, as small as it may be, it demonstrates that you know something. And trying to put it into use. Okay? 2, get 1 or 2 persons that you can work together. Probably when you get a project or when you enter into any issue. Okay? And also get a blog. So apart from this one, though this one is paid, there is Medium, medium.com. With Medium, you can write your post without anybody asking you anything, right? So everybody has, most developers I know have accounts here, and it's an opportunity for you to post things that you want to post free of charge. Okay, so it's important. Yeah, so those three things you need to hold them at the left hand, because they are important into your Android development journey. Okay, any other question?
Yeah, I still have another question. Yeah, as
Yes,
regards
please.
building app,
Yes.
is it a must that any app I build must be on Play Store, or just probably anything I've learned, I should just try and just build an app on it to show at least I'm actually
So
working on something?
yes, so it depends. If you are an intern, yeah, we can pass having an app on your phone. Okay, but is the Play Store URL that your possible employers will see even before they ask you to come into their company? Do you get?
Okay.
Say I say I'm looking for another developer. People start sending me CVs. While we're reviewing CVs, I saw one that has a URL to Play Store. And just check the URL. Oh, this is a nice app. Just pick up the app, probably use it, register on it, just play around with it. I just call the guy, dude, when do you want to start? Do you get? So those people that don't have URLs, okay, even if it's just put it on, even if it's Google Drive, right? Before you get a Play Store account, at least put on Google Drive. Let that be a link. And use, Google Drive used to have this long URL. Just have a URL shortener, bit.ly or google.gl. Just have something fancy, just have a fancy URL for it. So when the user clicks on it, it takes them to the Google Drive. Even if you're working on it and you have a Play Store account, as an intern, okay, if you're looking for an intermediate job, you need to have a Play Store account at least, or have apps that you have deployed on Play Store. That's like the requirement of moving to the next stage. Have at least one or two apps so that you can say, I wrote this app or I worked on this app. I don't have to work on the whole app. You can work with like 2 or 3 people, the other developers too. So they ask you, so what's your contribution to the app? Do you get? You tell them what your contribution is, and the person says, okay, well, that's fine. I'll start. So interviewers need to see something. That's the logic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and also, okay, yeah, sorry, I'm sorry. I like asking questions a lot. Yeah, and also building an app is not necessary, or it's not compulsory that I build something that's so extraordinary, because
no.
Okay.
I'm listening. Continue.
Yeah, okay. Because the reason I'm saying this is because someone like me now, I'm still trying to get my strength, just get my act around this Android stuff. So most of the time when I learn some stuff, I just try to build. It's not as if I've been into this thing for a very long time, so I'm just trying to know how to actually go and just to play safe, or just I don't want to just feel as if I'm not improving, or just more or less like why am I doing this? There's no way I just try anything I've learned, if it's just small recycler view, I just try to do something on it.
Put it into use. Yes, that's the concept. Yeah. It's very important. Anything you learn, put it into use. Anything you learn, just put it online. Just as I put it into an app, have a sample app that you're using to learn. Even to today, I still do that. I see any new concept I need to learn, new another project. So from there, I can, how would I call it now? I can play around with it. This project I'm uploading to GitHub, right? It's how do I put it now? It's I just created it how many days ago, not quite long, just for the purpose of this this talk, right? Now imagine just the same way you said, you talk about it. The code I showed you before, that large code I showed you before, it's quite large. I can't just do an example. I have to do a sample app that's simple for you to work with, just to demonstrate a concept. You grab. So any new thing that you need to learn, as soon as possible, create a new Android project. So even if I want to add let's say I want to add Rex to a project, I have to first put that Rex to one new project before coming to my main project. You get, because things can go wrong, right? So I've pushed, for those that are still here, I've pushed the projects to GitHub, right? Let me see, can I send message to people? Yep. Can I see that?
We can see.
Excellent. So just, I shared a URL with you.
Yes, we've seen it.
Exactly. So I'll be updating the README file so that you can have an idea of what the assignment is. I just put something small for you.
Okay.
Okay. So do you still have any other question? Okay, so the last thing here is I think we already talked about what employers look for, right? No.
Yes, with you.
Yeah, so we talked about what employers look for and how to build a career portfolio, right? I have at least one app, and any new concept that I want to use, demonstrate it in a new project. Okay. Now, in that your single app, you can start adding everything. Okay. Add it today. Add it. So your sample app. So how do you think a circular view will come in? Add the circular view to it. Later you learn RX or learn coroutines, right? So what can I change to coroutines in my code? Bam, put it. And also, the last part is that you should find someone, probably a senior person, that can help you. Okay. When I run into problems, I have one or two people, they are colleagues. I didn't really have so much senior guys ahead of me. Do you get? But I have colleagues, senior guys also, I can go to in case of any problems. But now that we have new generations of developers, right? It's easy for you to pick someone at the top and chat up and say, okay, I have this problem. Do you get? So have someone, a senior guy, someone that's more, at least more senior than you. Doesn't have to be a senior. Someone that's not so far from you, but senior that you can look up to. Have that person. Okay, they call it mentor. There's one they call mentor, but I don't want to use the mentor thing because that one looks like bigger. Okay, it looks bigger than what I'm trying to portray. It's not like a mentor, but someone you run to when you have problems, right? So have a blog, Medium post, a WordPress site, somewhere you can post your stuff, you can rank, put anything under development. People do Twitter stuff, but I don't like Twitter personally. So like I don't do Twitter bans, all this Android stuff like we do on Twitter. I'm not really so much into that. But I've seen people, guys in the tech community that are the Twitter kind of person and they post up there. If that works for you, please go ahead. Okay. Just have presence, online presence, boost your LinkedIn profile. That's basically it. Right?
Yes.
And how to find opportunities. This should be the last on the item. How to find opportunities. Like I said, have someone senior that you work with, right? So most of the time, those seniors have openings in their companies, right? I would have probably started trying to pick some of you, but my place, they're looking for senior engineers. Like you want to start, just come in next day, you're already pushing code. Do you get? Then we are still advocating to start having interns so that when senior engineers want to start leaving, you can have people to hand over to and the business will not collapse because of that. But that's still in the future, not right now.
Okay.
Yes. Any other questions?
No, from this side.
Let's see. I'm coming. Okay, I still have two of you. That's Adele and Taiwo. So no questions from the two of you here?
Yeah, no, none from this side.
Well, okay, so general Android, general, what is it called? No other questions. based on this room debating, no other questions.
No other questions.
All right. Opeyemi was on this call a while back.
Yeah, she has gone
Is
on.
it possible to get her back so we can wrap this up?
Well, you can wrap it up. She already knows.
Oh, okay, excellent. All right. So, in the absence of no other question, it's important that you refresh that GitHub URL in the next 20 minutes. I'm pushing something now
Okay.
to
Okay.
contain a guide on what you actually need to do.
Okay.
Okay. So check this site in the next 20 minutes. And I don't know how I want to submit. Just do a pull request. Do you know what pull requests are?
Yes.
Excellent. So if when you are done, do a pull request so I can review your code and tell you what you need to improve on. And that should be all. Right?
Okay.
Oh,
Yes.
All right. Have a nice
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Nice
Thank you very
to
much.
see you, Adeleye and Taiwo.
Yeah.
Enjoy
Thanks a
the rest
lot.
of the evening.
Yeah, you too. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Bye.